Raven is one of the biggest winners of Season 2. This man has received nothing but massive buffs to his kit. Honestly, everything you probably want as a Raven main, Raven probably got in Season 2. So with that said, in this video I'm gonna give you guys some quick fire tips on Season 2 Raven, just some things you'd want to do differently and how to play the character in this particular season. Now keep in mind, I have made a part 1 to this video. So if you haven't seen that, I highly advise to watch that first. Every tip I gave in that video won't make it to this one as they are completely different. So this is just like an additional bonus to that particular video. I've also made a Raven guide. If you don't know, I am a Raven main. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Raven is now able to cancel his soul zone into his crouch dash. Now this is a massive change as it completely changes his Okizeme after his full crouch down for a 3+4 sweep. So before, if Raven did his sweep, he could not do anything in terms of Oki. The idea was there, but if the opponent forward rolled, they could beat every single option after the sweep in terms of Oki. So tech rolling forward after Raven's sweep was always the right thing to do to avoid any sort of mix-up or guaranteed damage. Well, that's not the case anymore. So when Raven goes into soul zone and you press forward, he can now go into his crouch dash. So if you get a sweep, cancel the soul zone and go into crouch dash, then go for crouch dash 3+4. This completely catches the tech roll forward. However, it is a bit inconsistent depending on the range, so you won't really rely on it all that much. You can also use crouch dash 1, that works as well, and it gives you some really good Oki after the sweep. Like, Raven feels pretty oppressive now with this new tech, because before, like, forward draw just beat everything, but it was so annoying. You took this huge ass risk for just a sweep that's supposed to give you Oki, but you wouldn't get that Oki for free. Like, they'll just take roll and get out of the mix-up situation. But now this change completely changes that. A really good change for our boy. In Season 2, chip damage whilst in hit has been nerfed for every single character, including Raven. Now this has affected Raven quite a bit because Raven's clones whilst in hit did do massive chip damage in Season 1. It's actually insane how much chip them shits did. Like, nobody spoke about this all that much, to be honest. Kind of went under the radar, but yeah, he did some crazy amounts of chip in Season 1. So now with this change, you kind of have to prioritize your clone usage whilst in hit. So what I mean by this is try to use the clone moves that give you the most value whilst in hit, depending on the situation. For example, whilst running 3-2, I've always spoken about how this is Raven's best move whilst in hit because it elevates his full crouch mix-up potential. It's basically a mid-safe launcher from full crouch. Like, who can say no to that, right? Perfect mix to full crouch down for 3+4, the low. So you either go for the low or go for the mid. And the good thing about Raven, like most every character now in Season 2, is whenever he lands a clone, he gets to keep his hit. His hit does not deplete. So Offsetting 3-2, very strong for mix-up with the full crouch sweep. You also have running 3, which was buffed in Season 2. It's way faster now, and it is a launcher, a normal launcher whilst in hit as well. This is very good move just for pressure in general, getting those plus frames, and just of course it being a safe mid launcher. You have to throw this out at least once in a while whilst in hit. The other clone moves are very situational. You have moves like down forward 1-4, which is an amazing move for pressure. Of course, people tend to mash a lot after down forward 1, so it can be good to use down forward 1-4. But this, you get the most value out of this when your opponent has his back against the wall. So very strong in that sense. You have back turn 2-2-1. This one also is hit confirmable, counter hit confirmable. So you only want to throw this move out when you land that counter hit. Very, very strong and efficient that way. You have Soul Zone 3-2. This one, of course, is a very strong mix-up because you have Soul Zone 4 also, which is the low, so mid-low mix-up. And again, you mostly want your opponent's back to be against the wall so you can get that juicy ass wall splat. So you do have to pick and choose your situations when you want to use these clone moves. You can't just throw everything randomly now because you're losing value, bro. You're losing your safe clones that can give you so much mix-up potential depending on the situation, right? The playstyle has completely changed, not for cheap now, but you have to use them situationally like how it was intended to be used. Raven now has an automatic input with down forward 3+4 that takes him into his crouch dash or his full crouch. Now this is an amazing change, a very good quality of life change in fact, because there are some situations when you want to go for like an instant or standing 2, but you press it so fast, you drop it and you just throw out a standing 2, right? A random jab and you get blown out. It's so annoying sometimes. So this is a very, very welcome quality of life change. Now, you should not be exclusively using this automatic input to go into crouch or his crouch dash. The reason behind this is because this input is slow. Everything you throw out after down for 3+4 in his crouch dash or his full crouch comes out very slow. Or standing 2, his aqua spider for the sweep, or standing 3, everything will come out slower than actually doing the manual input of his full crouch or his crouch dash. So like an instant or standing 2, for example, there are some situations when you want to go right under your opponent's jabs when they're in your face. Doing the manual version of this is the best way to do it, because you can do it so fast sometimes you won't even see the animation of going into crouch. But with down forward 3+4, like automatically doing this, it comes out way slower. So what I've discovered is doing the automatic version down forward 3+4 is a very good way to cover space if you want to do it fast. Like you want to do it fast instantly and without dropping, the automatic input is the way to go. But if you're trying to do something immediately, like whilst your opponent is in your face, the best way to do it is the manual input, right? Down, down forward or standing 2, down, down forward 3 for aqua spider or for the sweep. It's very difficult for opponents to actually react to this, more so than the automatic version. So try to implement both and don't just use the one new down forward 3+4. Raven now actually has some pretty strong block pressure, bro. Like in season 1, you mostly lost your turn as Raven when you went in. You did not have a way to like force the opponent to deal with his mix-ups. Well, that has changed in season 2. He has moves like running 3, which has now been buffed, is way faster, and is +4 leaves him back turn. It's very, very strong. Like just throwing this out just still feels weird because of how fast it is. His quarter circle forward 1+2 now got buffed as well. It's now +5, leaves you full crouch, right? So you can go for standing 2 as a frame trap, 3+4 to track them if you're stepping, or full crouch down for 3+4 as the low sweep mix up. He has stuff like Soul Zone 3, which is -1, can leave him back turn, and of course he does have that back turn 1, which comes out at 8 frames, so he has a frame trap with back turn 1. He has stuff like back turn back to 4 as well, leaves him 0 on block with back turn. He's always had back 3 for some good wall pressure. He also has back 1, that's +7 on block as well. So he does have some pretty strong plus frames on block now, which is weird for Raven, but this is a new way to play Raven. You can actually keep your momentum going and keep your offense going. Don't be afraid to go in with Raven in season 2, boys. He's not as risky as he was back in season 1. Sticking to the subject of improved frames, season 2 has also buffed Raven's low game massively. So back in season 1, Raven took huge risks, like even going low. It's either his lows were hella reactable, or they didn't give very good frame data, or they're just risky in general. So Raven's go-to lows in season 1 were Aqua Spider, which was like a +4 low that leaves you back turn, as well as back turn forward 4. Now these lows, whilst they're good, they've always been uncomfortable. I think that's the best way I can describe the feeling of using these lows. Uncomfortable. Because when these lows were blocked, you did not know the outcome of what was going to happen afterwards. Because it puts you in an awkward situation where it's like the low is safe but unsafe depending on what you do afterwards. Because Raven can like parry afterwards to stay safe. The opponent tries to punish you, you can get baited and get punished. So it's just very awkward to use, not knowing the outcome every time you throw out this low. Now that has changed. Raven has received a buff to his QCF2 being 22 frames fast, so it's now unreactable. It's also +5 on hit, so amazing buff. He's got a new back turn low, back turn down 2, which is only -12 on block, +4 on hit. Amazing buff as well. Soul Zone 4 has gone to -14 on block from -16, so only launch punishable against characters with 14 frame launchers like Jin. So all these changes massively buff Raven's low game. You can just throw out a low now without taking all that much huge of a risk and not having to deal with mix-up situations on block as well. So this is another amazing buff for our boy. So again, don't be afraid to go low this time around with Raven. You have amazing lows for different situations, stuff like back turn forward for 3+4 for a combo launcher, Aqua Spider. So amazing buff. And like I said, again, don't be afraid to go for lows with Raven. And lastly, sticking to the subject of risk, and yeah, because Raven was a very annoyingly risky character. So the clones are now -13, which means using clone pressure without hit is actually now a legit strategy. Before, the clones were -14, and this was just a bit too much. There are so many characters that have amazing, strong 14 frame punishers, whether it's launchers or punishers that took you into hit. So you throw out a clone, hit a 14 frame punish, and now you're at -17 and you had to guess for your life. Like, it was just horrible. Against Brian, you just get launched. Lars, you just get launched. So now this is actually really good. Like, to put things into perspective, there are characters that have like down forward 1 mix-up. So for example, Lars now has down forward 1-1, which is a mid-high, or down forward 1-3, which is mid-mid. But the second mid is punishable at -13. So it's kind of like the same thing with Raven, except you don't have that high extension. So down forward 1 pressure is way better because of the clone follow-up, and the risk is way less again because it's only -13. This is especially strong at the warp because almost every clone was splat. So his down forward pressure in general will be really strong. His clone pressure will be really strong as well, even without hit. You're not taking that big of a risk. So don't be afraid to use the clones without hit. The clones are still strong even without heat. Okay, so for this section, I kind of want to give my thoughts on how I feel about Season 2 Raven in terms of strength in context to everyone else on the character roster. Now, first things first, it's still way too early for like tier lists and shit. Like, we still have a lot to discover in Season 2. The game has changed a lot. But early impressions in terms of Raven changes, bro, they're all positive, man. Like, Raven just feels good. Like, if I look at him, I think to myself, like, what else does he need? Like, what else is this character missing? Honestly, there's nothing else. Like, there's nothing. He's doing what he's supposed to do perfectly. If there's one other thing I would want, is maybe not being locked into Soul Zone when doing certain moves, like maybe after back 1, right? Like, we can just decide not to go into Soul Zone. But other than that, the changes are awesome, bro. Like, he's got so many ways to go into full crouch now. His full crouch mix-up is way scary with the buff to offsetting 3+4. His frames are better, his lows are better. Like, everything is just a massive dub for Raven. The only problem is, like I said, in context to everyone else, there are just some ridiculous characters in this game right now. Characters like June, characters like Feng, that just force you in situations you can't really do anything about, like Lars is running 1. So when stuff like that starts getting nerfed, then our boy is gonna rise up the ranks, bro. This is what I'm saying. Like, right now, this character is almost perfect. Like, in terms of Raven alone and his archetype, oh my days, like, they've cooked with this character. He's really strong. But again, guys, it's way too early. We have to wait and see how this game changes, what's going to be nerfed in this game, etc, etc. But I do like Raven, honestly, and I've been having fun with the character. I think I might do a solo Raven grind to God this season. I might not play any other character, just Raven, we will see. But I do love the changes. It's just that just other characters, there's so much bullshit that you don't really want to play Raven when you can play characters like, you know, Lars, for example. So that's just the only downside, but overall a massively cracked character. So anyway guys, I hope these tips were useful. Again, please don't forget to check out the first tips video. I made it back in season 1, it's still viable, and I've also done a Raven guide as well. So anyway, GG, thank you so much for watching. As usual, Doria, that like button, subscribe if you're new, and may the frame neither be ever in your favor. GG.